The term civility came up again and again throughout the campaign season, a concept evoked by many as the attack ads and candidate critiques mounted. And we'd rather not wait until the next election year to talk about how to be more civil in our everyday lives. We got perspective from Carolyn Lukensmeyer, Executive Director of the National Institute for Civil Discourse. Let's break it down and keep it as simple as possible for, the holidays. People are sitting around the dinner table and having that conversation. How do we respectfully, civilly disagree with each other?
Well, for one thing, you really pause and think about the words you're using. One that comes up frequently as people are interacting with one another, if they vote differently, is they think they're stupid or crazy. And I think that's a place, if you hear yourself just about to say that, then ask a question. What information are you using that makes you think that way about the wall? Who influenced you? So you learn more about the person's decision to take the position they've taken, instead of being so quick to make a moral judgment about the person.
There are people who will probably be watching this and think we've become too sensitive. People who will think, what about sticks and stones? What do you say to them where we are becoming, we should be becoming more cognizant of our language and our tone, but are we crossing any boundaries of infringing on someone's just individuality?
We get asked that question very often too, in the sense of, I don't want my freedom stepped on. And we try to put it back in the context of, think of the social environments that you're in. Again, work, your religious expression, your neighborhood, and stop to think about how those interactions are happening today compared to how they were happening 6 months ago, or even a year. And when we ask that question, it's just like people kind of pop awake. It's like, oh my goodness, we really have changed how we treat each other. And then it's going back to the fundamental things that it's usually our moms or our parents taught us before we left the house to go to school. Mm-hmm. The critical question is, treat other people like you would like to be treated. And then pretty quickly this issue of are we too sensitive goes away. Because almost all of us do have an experience where someone else is being very disrespectful of us.
Who ultimately would you say is the gatekeeper of these types of conversations?
That's a great question. And I think you actually have to look at it at every level of system, if I can say it that way. In every family, if you ask a family this question, they would answer it, oh, in our house, it's our mom that's the gatekeeper. Or in our house, it's amazing, but it's our kindergartner that's the gatekeeper. So in each context, at work, in the place of worship, and in our political system, the gatekeepers are the people who are actually holding the standard of how we should behave with one another. And what's great about that is it means every one of us can be a gatekeeper to reestablish how we want to talk and listen to one another.
How do you suppose that we ought to respond when we're in an uncomfortable place and we recognize that the behavior, the language is not appropriate?
That's sometimes tough, because sometimes I feel like if I were to take a stand that the way you've just spoken to this gentleman or this woman is wrong, that it might just escalate. It might just get worse, or the shift might be targeted toward me. So it's very interesting, things that social scientists have discovered. If in fact you seem to be in the presence of a very serious conflict that's gotten too heated, address the person, but actually don't look them in the eye. Actually look at their feet. And what it does is shift that person's perception and take some of the heat out of the conversation.
Does that imply that you no longer respect the person, or you're just uncomfortable?
I don't think so. I think it implies that you want to stay in the conversation, but you don't want the conversation to get more heated.
What is the ultimate goal? I mean, society's changed, our social norms have developed over the years, but what is the goal of instituting practices like you're talking about today?
It's a very important goal. Our founders in the Constitutional Convention actually talked about civility, and respect and decency as part of the values that a democracy and a republic would have to be successful, because they knew we'd be in a lot of conflicts. So why this is so important, we've seen our social norms about civility and respect take a deep, degradation in just about a 4-year period of time. It didn't start 4 years ago, but it has gone on a downward slide extremely fast. So the importance of this is we're blessed to live in this country. We're blessed to have the kind of freedoms we have, but our democracy only works if we continue to value everyone in our democracy and have the capacity to feel some experience of caring about people who are different than we are. So the social norms of civility and respect, they're fundamental to our democracy.
Carolyn, thank you so much.
Totally my pleasure. Thank you for having me.